community organizers helping officers restore trust. This was made possible by the Tampa Bay Lightning Foundation generous $50,000 donation through their Community Heroes Grant. First, I'd like to introduce Elizabeth Frazier, Senior Vice President of Philanthropy and Community Initiatives for the Lightning Foundation, to talk about their donation and their ongoing investment in the Tampa community. Elizabeth?
Thank you, Chief Dugan, and thank you for having me here today. When the Lightning were fortunate enough to play in the Stanley Cup final this past September, it was important to Jeff Fennick and the entire Lightning organization that we use the Lightning Community Hero Program to fund initiatives that were relevant and timely to the Tampa Bay community in the year of 2020. It is our honor that we were able to use a portion of this Community Hero funding to help bring this training workshop to the officers of the Tampa Police Department, to help improve their communication skills and help facilitate healthy relationships with the diverse communities that it serves. We were lucky enough, some colleagues and I, to observe one of these workshops last week, and we were truly impressed by the interactive and meaningful conversations facilitated amongst all of the officers there. One comment that particularly resonated with several of us was the comment that officers has lots of powerful tools in their gun belt. One of the most powerful tools you can use is your voice. It is truly our honor on behalf of Jeff Fennick, our players, our coaches, and the entire Lightning organization to be able to help fund this important initiative for the community of Tampa Bay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Seeing a need in his own community, True Pettigrew took the initiative to build bonds between public servants and residents. After I met him at the Mayor's Task Force on Policing, I wanted True to share his story with our officers as a way to look at building connections in our own community. To provide some insight into his cohort workshop, I'd like to bring up True Pettigrew.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you, Elizabeth, for helping make this possible for me to be here, and thank you, Mayor, for allowing this to happen as well. My name is True Pettigrew, and as you just heard the Chief share, this cohort workshop was developed based on some concerns that I had in the community where I lived, based on the tensions and the concerns that exist between communities of color and the local law enforcement. And so I met with the chief on a local level there in Cary, North Carolina, expressing my own concerns based on some experiences that I had growing up, and fearful that my son may have to go through some of the same things that I went through. And so out of my love and concern for my son, I had a very candid conversation with the chief, and that conversation led to a bond that Chief Dugan just referenced, and a brotherhood between me and Chief Godwin. And he agreed to allow me to develop a workshop to help officers understand the concerns of the community, but also to help community members to have an understanding of the officer's perspective. So this workshop is designed to facilitate discussions and dialogues that allow all stakeholders to collaborate and co-create on thoughts, ideas, and solutions on how we can all better coexist. And so I'm extremely proud, and I commend the City of Tampa and the Tampa PD for their commitment and devoting these efforts and resources to building bridges of trust and legitimacy and understanding here in the community. Thank you, Chief.
And finally, Mayor Castor will come up to speak on her thoughts of the training and her task force.
Thank you, Chief Dugan. Thank you, True. Thank you, Elizabeth, so much for being wonderful partners. You know, we are blessed to be able to live in such a diverse city. I often say the best city in the entire nation here in Tampa. But diversity transcends gender and race. And we have to be very cognizant of that. And we have to listen. We have to listen to hear different viewpoints from the entire community. And that is exactly what the Tampa Police Department is doing with this cohort training. And it's also what we did when we brought the community together to define what they wanted from the Tampa Police Department, because the Tampa Police Department exists to serve our residents. And so it's very, very important that we are able to hear what the expectations are of the officers that are out there serving our community, out there working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to ensure that we live in one of the safest cities in the entire United States. And I have always been very, very proud of the relationship that we have had, the officers at the Tampa Police Department have had with the residents in our community. But it's a relationship that is built day after day after day. And you can never rest and say, check that box and say, we've got a great relationship, let's move on to something else. You have to work on that relationship every single day. And it's in listening to the community and the residents that we are all able to better serve our community. Very proud of the men and women of the Tampa Police Department, that because they understand the need to treat every single citizen with dignity and respect. They understand that they have to be transparent in what they are doing in their actions every single day, and to get the feedback from the community on the type of service provision that they are giving to our citizens every single day. And it's very interesting, Elizabeth, because I would always, at the Great American Teach-Ins, I would always ask, what's the most important tool that a police officer has? And they always guess whatever it is around your belt. But the truth is, it's your ability to talk your way into or out of situations. It's that ability to communicate. And communicating, the most important part of that is the listening aspect. And so I believe that the men and women of the Tampa Police Department have derived a great deal of value from this cohort training. I know I personally derived a great deal of value from bringing the community and the police officers together several months ago, and hearing from the residents what they expect, what those expectations are from the department, and coming up with that list that is being implemented on a day-by-day process, and actually being overseen by Dr. Brianna Fox from USF. So very, very proud of our police department, very proud of our community, and very, very thankful that, again, we live in a community that is willing to step up. You know, where the very finite city budget ends, the needs do not end in our community. So we are blessed to have Jeff Vinnick and the Lightning. We're very fortunate to have Elizabeth Frazier. I know that she is always there when we need her in this community, as is the Lightning Foundation. So I thank you for making this training possible and making our city the wonderful, wonderful community that it is to live in, but most importantly for bringing home that Stanley Cup, because that was the best day ever. So thank you to the Lightning Foundation. Thank you, True, for providing this training. Thank you, Chief, for having the vision to put this training in action. And I guess now we will answer questions?
Yes.
All right.
Anybody have any questions? I guess we nailed it.
Oh, you have a question? No? All right. Thank you all very much.